what's going on.
Hey, thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Jamie, how are you, my friend?
Andy, greetings. Hello, everybody. It feels like it's been forever.
It has been a long time. I was shocked when I saw the date on here. It's been about a month, I believe. But anyway, yeah, we're back in the saddle. It is the new year, and we'll have some things to talk about. And when it comes to market recap, when talking about a new year, so yeah, there you go, Dave. It was last year. But anyway, thank you for joining us, and let's dive in. Let's talk about let's get the legal issues out of the way first. All right, guys, we are content publishers here at Trade Ideas. Jamie and I will be talking about some stocks and setups and things like that, but nothing should be construed as investment advice. That's not what we're trying to do here. If you are looking for that type of information, you want to seek out a registered advisor, a stockbroker, somebody who has that license to give you that advice. All right, the agenda for today is a market recap, and you know, I was going to add a little bit to it. Let's just wait. We'll be talking about it here in a minute. The Holly recap. Holly's kind of been on a nice little run lately. Nothing, you know, crazy, but it's been a crazy market, and Holly has been definitely holding her own and making some profits. So Jamie will talk about some of the Holly trades today. A new top list for you called Death Row Inmates, and this is looking for stocks that are set up for possibly a downside move. I know most traders like to play, you know, the upside, but you know, if you are an active traders, I always like to do a webinar like this every now and then to like get you prepared, especially if you've only traded a primarily bull market, which is what we've seen basically for the last 13 years. So we just want to make sure we you know, you're prepared, you know, when the tape does turn, and I'm not saying it's going to, but it's always nice to be prepared. And I'm going to show you kind of a nice, share a nice little scan with you here that can help you, you know, spot these pockets of opportunity to the downside. It's going to be a good session here. All these are going to be below their major SMAs, and I'll have more to talk about that when we get to it. And then we're going to look at some. I've been noticing some money going into dividend-paying stocks. You know, that's a lot of time people are possibly getting you know, prepared for maybe the money's not going to be in the growth stocks and putting some money away and making some dividend, you know, on their investment. So we'll take a look at that. Nothing earth-shattering here. Just it always kind of gets me a little bit defensive on some of these high flyers and growth stocks when I see a lot of these going to highs. All right, before we move on, guys, we do have new people in here. We always do, and in the beginning of the year, we're seeing more and more of them. So I do want to talk about the support, education, and training that we have here at Trade Ideas. It's a very powerful software, and it gets powerful by the day. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. It seems like we're always coming out with new features. You know, the race cars come out, the Market Explorer, all this has come out in the last few months here, and we're working on new stuff. So, but I want to let the new people in here know, maybe the ones that just joined us or the ones that are thinking about joining us, that you can make this as complicated as you want to, or you can keep it very simple. We have a lot of pre-configured channels and windows for you to just dive in and immediately start using the software. And there's a lot of traders here that are very experienced in the markets and are very experienced in with the software. So in both cases, we've been, you know, 10-year plus in most of us here with both the software and trading, and in most cases over 20 years with trading. So there is a lot of support. There's a lot of education and training here to help you with that. You can see along the side, we do these webinars, 2 of these a week, and then every day we have the support webinar, which is great. Let me just flip over here and show you about it. It's weekdays, Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time, and we take over Barry's live stream. Come in there. You're seeing a desktop just like you're seeing now. You can ask questions and learn more about the product, especially if you're having trouble with an issue, building a top list or an alert window, and we can help you with that. So it's a great venue to come in and get your questions asked, guys. All right, I'm going to save this for Scott. I'm going to back out here and let's talk about the market, because I think it's going to be an interesting market recap today. We're definitely going to look at the SPYs in the IWM too. I'm sorry, the Qs along with the SPYs in the IWM. But this is what we had coming into today, and let me fire up the old Epic pen. And we talked about this over and over. Come on, baby, where are you? There you are. All right. If I had a trend line drawn in here, it would probably marry up to what you see right here, where we're bouncing a little bit higher, and we continue to bounce, you know, every time we have these pullbacks along the trend line. Now, we have broken the 50 several times over the last month, but we have held the trend for some time now, and we held it again, 3 days ago. But, you know, not very impressive. If you go back and look in the SPYs here, typically our bounces have sustained a kind of a nice move after their bounces. What I'm talking about is usually a couple of weeks, you know, when we get these little bounces. This was very short-lived, you know, in the SPYs. Now that doesn't mean we can't come back. I know it's still a buy the dip environment until it's not. Okay, I'm not getting bearish here, but I'm saying it's a new year and you kind of have to be prepared for possibly something different, especially with what's going on with the possible, you know, the rise in interest rates. Okay, guys, it's not common. If you go back in history, we have a bull market, you know, basically a bull market now for 13 or 14 years. Yeah, we've had some quick pullbacks, but they were quickly bought up. We have not had a sustained bear market now for some times. And once again, I'm not saying we're going to, but I think you always have to be prepared because it's coming at some point. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think it's always best to be on the safe side, you know, when you start getting these moves. Today was an ugly one too. We barely held above 2 days. We held above our 50 period moving average, and we came crashing right back through it. And now, if we look at the Qs. And one of the reasons I was very quick on the trigger yesterday and this morning and got out of everything is the Qs never even got above their 10 period moving average. So now you have these fanning moving averages to the downside, you know, on the Qs. Okay, that would make sense why you see some money rushing into these a lot of your dividend paying stocks nowadays, a lot of your safe stocks, and we'll take a look at some of those here in a minute. The Qs right now are just not performing like some of these S&P SPY stocks. Energy has been doing well. We'll see if that can hold up. So what am I saying here is going to happen? You know, I don't know, but I think the areas you have to watch, you know, especially in the Qs, is if it does come down here and break this, I think it may have a date with the 200-day moving average. The SPYs, I think you have to keep an eye on the trend line. And let's just go ahead and draw it. We've had a nice sustained trend line in the SPYs for some time now. And if we draw this right here, you're going to see that would be one. I think for the short term, this would probably be one closer to watch right here, because all it takes is 2 points, you know, to establish a trend. We established it there, and that's exactly where we bounced the other day. So there's a couple there you need to keep an eye out, you know, of course, in this kind of pivot level right here in the SPYs that we didn't get close to this last time. We held it a couple of times here. That's definitely a strong pivot level, so which would marry up to this trend line. So keep an eye on that, guys. I really believe that you know, if we do continue to see, you know, weakness in the Qs and the IWM, that it will eventually flow over to the SPYs. The IWM has, you know, it can't even get back above its 10 moving average. Any of its moving averages below all of them, and close to teeter. And you can see that alert that I have down here. That's a major pivot there that is held for basically a year. And if it breaks down below that, yeah, things could get really ugly for the small cap. But Jamie, I don't want to sound too bearish here. I just think it's also, it's always good to caution on the, and you can kind of see it here in the cues. I mean, we've had quick bounces going back, you know, but boy, look at this slop we've had even going back to November. It's been kind of sloppy. We could not make a new high here out of this bounce, and just something you got to keep an eye on.
Absolutely, Andy. I was noticing also if you pull the SPY up
Mm-hmm.
and you see that low candle on the low candle on October 4th.
On October 4th, right here. No. Oh, it's on, let me see,
See that
October.
red one right there? Keep on going. Keep on
Oh
going
yeah,
to the
right there.
no. Down at the bottom. It's down at the bottom
Oh,
of the
oh, oh, oh.
should be that red candle to the left, I think. If you hover over it, is that 10-4? Yeah, right there.
Okay.
If you anchor the VWAP there,
Oh, okay.
you'll see a pretty interesting correlation, I think.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little purple line there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trying to hold on to it. Yeah, if it gets below that, you're breaking that major trend there too, Jamie. So, yeah, interesting. That would be about a 6-month low too, right? Yeah. Okay.
Approximately.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, definitely something. Yeah, those anchored VWAPs, I need to use them more. We have them. They're so handy to reach in there and pull them up and do it. But yeah, something I got to keep an eye on. All right, you want to take it over and talk about a few of the Holly trades? I think they
Yeah,
were doing a little bit better earlier in the day.
let me grab the screen from you. Shrink that bad boy back up. Okay, I think you should have eyes on my desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you,
Well,
real quick, you want to, before you jump into that, Jenny just asked, can you explain the anchored VWAP? If not, you could hold off till I get it back.
right. And a quick synopsis, Jenny, is well, we kind of got this idea from our good friend Brian Shannon. He does a lot of anchoring the VWAP, and what that means is on what we perceive to be significant bottoms or tops on the chart, what we can do is anchor to a certain candle. In this case right here, the purple line is the anchored VWAP from here, right? So we're noticing that little correlation on those wicks right there. But you can anchor it from all different types of the chart. We found it to be really handy, when an IPO's got 7, 10, 20 trading days, anchoring from that first day of trading. It's pretty eye-opening that some of these things adhere to those levels. So instead of just doing volume weighted average price in general, it allows you to pick the candle at which point to start the volume weighted average price calculations. So Andy, does that kind of sound
No, that's
like the
it's
definition, or did I miss
absolutely,
anything?
absolutely. It's very simple. Instead of doing a period, in other words, a 20 period, a 50 period, or something like that, you are anchoring it to a significant point in time, and it basically just tracks the like Jamie was saying, the VWAP from that area. Sounds like she got it.
Yeah, like if we pull up Robinhood, you can see the entire trading history, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So of course this guy's going to be way underwater.
Mm-hmm.
But if we anchor to that first candle, you can see, I mean, it's just, of course, all the moving averages are, fanned out on
Yeah.
this one to the downside.
Ugly.
But a lot of the times when they have briefer histories, you'll see them hugging that line. And if you get a close above it, that's typically a good indicator that there's some upside momentum taking place, and vice versa on the downside. So it's just something you'll want to play around with and get used to if you've never used it before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so onward to the AI. As Andy was saying earlier, Holly, the AI has been on a pretty good run in navigating, these tricky markets pretty well. Been green a lot over the past 5, 7 trading days. Now, of course, I've got the strategy panel pulled up here, and we can see on the trades plotter, conservative up a little bit, and keep in mind all the values that you see here are based on risking $100 per trade. So when we look at the profits and the losses here, not really anything to write home about. Not a lot of big winners. You know, we got a $100 max loser on this one, even though that was not a stop out. That was a profit save. But if we take a look at the equity curve for today, this is how it ended up. But at one point in time, we were up a little over 2 times risk on our trades. And then of course, if you didn't take them all off at the perfect time, which is not impossible to do, just most of the time we're not going to get that lucky. We see this equity curve erode for the remainder of the day. Having said that, there were still some pretty good trades. And a lot of the time here, what we like to talk about are 3 different things. Any spread between conservative and moderate profit. A little bit on a few of these, but not any huge ones today. I guess the BWA is a decent example, so let's take a look at that one. Chart's a little laggy. Okay, and we can see right here, Holly calls the buy right here, and just a low and steady uptrend. Looking at this pattern on the 15-minute intraday candles, not really any opportunistic times to add to the trade unless, I take that back, unless we added right here at this candle right here. Also 1-2 gets us in a little early, then 30 minutes later we have a opening range break. So BWA, this would have been a choice little time right here to add some shares as the trade began to work up in the money a little bit, and then exhibiting that opening range break around 49 and 40. And you know, maybe a 60-cent push is all we got out of BWA, but still a decent time to attack on a few more shares right there. What was that time? Yeah, about an hour into the open. Now, talking about the conservative versus moderate spread, notice in conservative mode, Holly got a little anxious right here. Closed the trade. The shaded area corresponds with her closing it out in the conservative mode. Just got a little bored, flatted the trade. All you had to do was wait because it wasn't throwing any elbows, never even acted like it was going to go visit the stop loss area. So you just had to be patient on this one. No reason to get out whatsoever. So pretty big difference between flatting the trade and making almost 1R, risking $100, not quite to it, but $80 on a pain-free trade there. Now we got a teeny tiny little bit of spread in the conservative and moderate here. Once again, nothing to write home about on this ACRS short here. Holly closing the trade out right here at this level. All you had to do was sit, would have grinded down a little bit into the close, making a whole $20. So just not a whole lot of spread between conservative and moderate today. And once again, the add-ons on the BWA, decent add-on opportunity here. KBH was a good mover. Not a huge percentage point, but a point nonetheless. Not a bad entry right here. Looked like we were in, you know, gearing up for a range break on this one. And of course, KBH also having the luxury of being very close to all-time highs. So at one point, I thought we might make a run at this little level here. Boy, my charts are really lagging. Sorry about that. That high back from May, but it ran out of steam. Looked like a good time to add right here. And if you did, you probably just flatted that second lot, but a good trade in KBH nonetheless. Little fake out, looked like a good time to add, didn't follow through there. Otherwise, not a whole lot to really dissect here, Andy. Just a loser and I.
Mm-hmm.
It was up a little bit, but this one just caved in.
Mm-hmm.
ACI, funny thing, I was in that one the other day. Just, you know, kind of boring market action on the ACI. And ACRS, you know, the shorts didn't produce much. They were in the money a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity here, FLMN. And you would have thought that maybe some of these would have given
Yeah,
up a little bit going into the close, but
I know. I
it
know the
just
same
wasn't
thing.
meant to be today, you know?
I know that's the way it is sometimes.
hmm
Yeah.
So all in all, a decent performance. You know, green is good. Just not really knocking it out of the park, But as I said earlier, over the past 5 to 7 trading days, she has turned in some really good results, and we'll see if the trend continues.
All right.
All right, Andy, let me get it back over to you.
Okay. All right, guys. The way I came around to building this death row inmates is a lot of you guys have seen a simple top list that I have called above all major SMAs. And basically, if I go into configuration, you're going to see real easy to configure. Just basically putting 0.01 in the min and all of your major moving averages, your 10, 200, 20, and 50. Okay, this is going to assure that any stock that comes through this top list is going to be above all its, these are day too, this is not intraday, this is daily. So you're looking at daily candles here, and all of the price has to be above all of the major moving averages. And in this one, I'm looking for position in year range, has to be in the upper 25% of its yearly range, and so just a really sweet little top list for finding stocks that are very strong. In other words, all of these are going to be moving from the lower left to the upper right. Can come in very handy, you know, when you're looking for any longs. But now, what I was thinking the other day, it's like, well, shoot, why don't I just flip this? In other words, what I did is I started out with this new one that I built. I just took this configuration. Let me just duplicate this and then just come in here to configure, and you can just do a simple flip, and it's going to flip this for you, and it's going to turn everything around. So everything now in this window is going to be below all its major moving averages. So if you're looking for bearish stocks, this is probably the place you want to go, you know, instead of shorting some of these, you know, ones that are, you know, up and above all the moving averages. Let's focus on shorting, you know, the weak ones. Now, a lot of you guys know me, and a lot of times I'm not afraid to kind of bottom fish, looking for stocks that are, you know, potentially coming up out of a trend and trying to turn the corner. I've done that a lot in the past. I've been very successful with it. But if you were able to watch my trading, you're going to see when the tape gets bearish that I will stop doing that. Okay. If you're in a bull market, a lot of times you can catch these stocks, and I'm not talking about catching falling knives. I'm talking about stocks that are kind of basing and possibly on the verge of turning the corner. You won't find me doing that when the tape gets like it is today. Okay, it's just when it gets sloppy like this, and it looks like the tape is possibly turning the corner and heading down, or it's just nasty and all over the place. This is where I will be more traditional in my search for entries into stocks where I'm looking to play the strong side stocks to the upside and short the weak stocks. So this is how I started, and this is my final product here, the death row inmates. And let's take a look at the configuration. You're going to see what I've done here. To basically, what I wanted to do is I want to build, I didn't want to chase a lot of these things down that, in other words, have been hit real hard the last 4 or 5 days, and you're basically chasing a short. That's not the way I like to play. I wanted to build something to where I can kind of catch these things before they break through a major resistance level, or in other words, I don't want to be chasing. I want to catch them before you know, they're breaking through. So configuration here is basically just the opposite. See, I have a negative 0.01 and the max of all these major filters. So now I know the stock has to be below these major moving averages. Position in year range, I changed it up a little bit. I want these in the lower half of their 50-day range. I'm sorry, the position in yearly range. So by putting a 50 in the max, I know all these stocks are in the lower half of their yearly range. Volume today just has to be doing 200,000. I don't have a volume an average volume. Just it has to be doing at least 200,000 shares a day. Position in 3 months range. I added this filter just to catch maybe these ones I don't want them real far extended. It's hard to do. I mean, you'll still find some, because if it's just below yesterday, you're going to see them, but they can't be just killed today. In other words, they can't be down more than 5% from their 3-month range. And change in 5 days, I'm kind of limiting to that. I want a minimum of, in other words, I don't want these things, I don't want them chasing them down after they've been down 20% over the last 5 days. So I got change in 5 days, a max of negative 10%. Pretty much it. Simple. This is a top list. I wanted to show you. This is from this morning. I put it at 9 o'clock my time. I'm on Central Time. And I want to show you some of the opportunity. If you were noticing the cues this morning and noticing how they couldn't get back above their 10-period moving average, they opened up and immediately after the first 30 minutes started selling off and getting hit. If you had something like this open, you would notice, this is from 9 o'clock this morning, a lot of these stocks would have been trading up here, and look at the potential to the downside. I mean, these shorting stocks can give you so much more potential a lot of times than these stocks that are moving to highs, because people fear is stronger than greed, and people will just start pounding and getting out of their losers. And you'll see a lot of these stocks. Look at this Peloton here, from basically the open, just dropped basically 2 points there. And time and time again, you're going to see all these ones. But look at the daily here. See, they haven't really broken. When this opened up this morning, it was nowhere near this range breakdown. Okay, and the reason that is, if you look what I have this sorted by, and I forgot to show you this, but what I did is I sorted by position in 3-month range. Okay, so I want the ones that are in their 3-month range. I see it's like some of these ones way down here. Well, this was from this morning. I'll show you when I go to real time, you'll see what I'm talking about. But these right here are not below their 3-month range here. So I know they haven't broken down. Okay, just like that SFIX, there was your 3-month range, and this thing was, well above it, 2 points higher than that. So it gave you an opportunity. Netflix, another one. Okay, there was your low right here. This thing opened up. Very weak stock. It could not even bounce with the market. Okay, the last couple of days. And that's a sign right there of continued selling, continued weakness, great opportunity there in Netflix. Starbucks, this is one where I'd probably been a little bit hesitant, because even though it did kind of give it up at the end of the day, it's kind of but anyway, you can see what I'm talking about here. A lot of these ones you're going to catch before they break down. Now let's go to real time, and maybe let's go live during market hours, and that will close it in the in other words, when the market closes, this thing will freeze, and it'll give you these stocks that are setting up, for potential, looking at some of these ones for the following day if we continue to have weakness. Now I know this one is been bouncing off this $5 range, but maybe one to watch tomorrow if it breaks it. I'm not sure how much you'll get out of it, but still, that's a major level there. Rocket may be one to watch. This is an all-time low. If it breaks through that level, could continue lower. First Solar is another one. Some of these ones now after this big day, some of these are just downright ugly. And the thing about shorting is you got to be careful chasing. And this is why I think it's important that when you look at these things, you try to get the ones that really haven't broken these major, levels, because these are the ones when they do break, can really accelerate to the downside, versus the one I was looking at earlier. Let's see. It was one it's not on here anymore, that I was going to give you a really good example of. And I'll tell you another thing, a lot of people have been talking about, don't short this market, and buy the dip, you don't want to short this market. There has been lots of shorting opportunity. I wish I would have gone in and looked at some of the percentage of the stocks that are below their 50 moving average versus the ones that are higher. But there's a lot of stocks being sold out there. Some of your major oil stocks have been holding up. The financials have been holding up the market. We may take a look at some of the sectors here later, but trust me, there's some opportunity. I mean, if you're a good hedge fund and you know how to get in the strong stocks and be short some of the weak stocks, you can be doing very well right now, because I am seeing a lot of stocks and a lot of the big names like Netflix. The ones, remember Yeti? Remember how strong Yeti was for so long? Look at this chart now. I mean, it's just ugly, ugly, ugly. One probably going to have more weakness. Wayfair, remember this one? That was darling not too long ago. Above 300. Boy, the price has been cut in half and looks like it may want to break down again. We get some continued weakness, I could see this stock going lower tomorrow. So when you're doing your homework, you can just sit here and put in price alerts like that. Just think of the chart being flipped around. If this was a long stock and this was all-time highs, boy, you'd be just itching to buy that. Well, it can work to the downside too. Trying to find some more that some of us are probably very well. Golly, there's a lot of stocks in here, man. SQ, remember that one? There's another one. Well, way over, almost, yeah, cut in half there. It just well, there's some weakness out here. I think I saw Twitter in here the other day. That's another one that's really bleeding off and selling, getting in hard, may take out that level tomorrow. So I think this is a really good. Now, where I like this the most is if we get a little bounce, like I was showing you there in the Qs, maybe have something like this up, okay, where you can spot those stocks, like I told you, like Netflix, that even though the market had a nice bounce for a couple of days, this thing didn't bounce at all. This is where you can be on top of your game and really, boy, that was just a beauty today. Definitely some relative weakness there. It couldn't not even get anywhere close to its 10-period moving average. All right, so let me share this. Let me put this back on real time. I just wanted to share something with you because I think this is one that if you have it sorted by position in the 3-month range there, that you could maybe catch some ones instead of chasing a lot of the yeah, that's on real time. Okay, and let me just save and share. Because I can promise you, if you are an active trader and you've only traded the long side, which not a bad thing over the last several years, it may be good to be, to have to just get in the swing of it, because there's going to be a time probably where you're going to wish that you were able to, able to short. Okay, death row inmates. Okay, and there you go. Perfect. All right, there was some other topics that I want. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about some what a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing in the market right now. And I got a beauty for you that you may want to keep your eye on. Okay, well, what's strong? Notice KDP coming through my explosive extreme volume here. Well, what is this? Well, this is Keurig Dr. Pepper. It's even trading up in after hours. I mean, this is very strong. You're saying, wow, Dr. Pepper, Keurig, well, what's going on there? Well, it's their dividend paying stock. Let's take a look at Coke. Here's another one. Looks like it's going to break out. What do you see over here? There's a dividend paying stock. Kellogg. Looks like it's flirting around up here by highs, pays a nice dividend yield of 3.5 right there. General Mills, another stock flirting around, could break out of this level. I mean, the thing about these, you're not going to get your explosive moves, especially if you're used to trading some of the low float stocks. But if some of you guys out there are just kind of maybe swing traders, investors, park a little money there, and maybe, hey, it's better than losing. It's when you see the Apples, the Facebooks, and Netflix rolling over, you got to go where the money's going. And right now, I'm seeing it go into a lot of the dividend paying stocks. Your utilities are another one. this XLU, I have it a alert here if it gets above its 10 and 20 period moving average. And one stock that I'm really kind of salivating over is, take a look at this FE, First Energy Corp. It's an electric bulk power transmission, pays a dividend. That is about, it's almost too pretty for me. You know, those stocks, those charts that just say, that looks too pretty, something fishy's going on. You know, I'm afraid to buy that if it breaks out. But look how it keeps selling off, and that wick just keeps bouncing, closing above. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. Just closing right above that 10 period moving average every day. I have an alert there, and more than likely will buy that tomorrow if it breaks through. But dividend paying stock, you're going to see the utilities, a lot of your REITs, a lot of your I think I saw maybe some over here today going through some of your banks. A lot of your banks will pay dividends. That and top of potential rise in interest rates are doing well for the financials. So just trying to give you an idea where the money is. There a scan to find dividend stocks? Yes, there is. And I have one, but I'm going to have to give you a custom formula. Okay. And it's called Yield Watcher. Now, trust me, on some of these ones, when you see these ones up in the 20s, 19s, and 13s, I really don't pay a lot of attention. Look at the finance and insurance. Michael's been talking about a lot of the insurance companies doing well on his TI strength, and that's because they pay a dividend, and that's what you're seeing here. So this is a nice little tool of stocks that are paying a dividend. I'm going to share. Let me just do this and let you guys paste this. You guys either take a screenshot or write this down. I'm going to pull into my account management page and go into my custom formulas and go into my dividend yield so you guys can copy it, because I really don't want to share this. I mean, it's not going to copy soon. There it is. All right. That's the code. That's the code you want. Okay, right there. I will copy this and paste this into the chat. Dividend yield, and don't forget to add your 4 times 400 to it. And there you go. And then just description, you can call it what you want to it. I'd call it dividend yield. Make sure you use units %. Okay, and that will give you the custom formula that you'll need to put into this window. Now I'll share the window with you as well. I remember putting this together for a money manager, actually. All right, so here is the cloud link. There you go. There's the cloud link for dividend. Oh, I got dividend yield for both descriptions, but you guys can figure that out. Now, once again, guys, when I see things like, 29% dividend yield, that's usually a mistake, or be careful, because the company, there's no way they can maintain that. They're probably going to cut their dividend at some point, or a lot of cases it's not our data that's causing this. I mean, you can find this a lot of times on even UBS. That's probably not right. It probably has to do with the our data provider providing the wrong information, giving us an annual yield, which should be a quarterly. But all these ones, when you start getting around 8, 7, 6, those should be accurate. And you can see, look at this little $6 company. Look at the move it's had over the last week. People are running into dividend stocks right now. Yeah, Debbie, that's what I'm saying. Well, they could have reported an annual for some reason. Most of them will report a monthly, and then we have to. That's why that times 400 is all about, and that takes it and turns it into an annual dividend yield. So yeah, I'm not sure a lot on what's going on here. They could be reporting it wrong. They could be actually reporting an annual. But I think you may be right. But anyway, that could be, yeah, that could be a nifty little thing. I mean, once again, I mean, if you're looking for momentum, things ripping on low float, you're not going to find them in that window for sure. But let me make sure. It seems like there's one other topic I wanted to add here. Let's see. No, I think I covered everything on that. But let's, what, we have a little time here. I want to go through the sectors and kind of give you an idea of what is doing well and what's not. Okay. TLT has been getting hit a little bit, but you might want to watch that. The interest rates have been going up, but keep an eye on that, because if not to buy, I'm not interested in buying this chart, but if it gets to moving higher, especially if you're long some financials, if I am long financials, I always keep an eye on what the bonds are doing, because I know if the rates start to head back down. In other words, we've seen it before and before. The market starts to get hit, starts selling off, and a Fed governor will start looking for a microphone to kind of calm everybody down and saying he's going to be accommodative and all that. So be careful, because if that happens and you start getting the bonds going higher, which means interest rates are coming down, keep an eye on the banks, because they will probably start selling off. But for right now, there's the KRE, which is the regional banks, doing very well. And even your KRE pays a dividend yield, because it is an accumulation of several regional banks. XLU, once again, this is the utility index, doing fine. Needs to get back above the moving average there. So right now it's still kind of underwater. Transports tried to rally today, but boy, it got slapped back down for its moving averages. XLF still holding up strong, well above its moving averages, could come back and test this level. Put a little price alert right there in case it wants to come back and test this breakout. Gold is, you got to watch gold. I mean, everybody hammers gold, and I understand, but this thing is in a very long-term wedge, and you need to watch this. I mean, not that it's doing anything right now, that's for sure, but very, very long-term wedge right here, that it could just paint itself further and further in this corner. So if it does move out of either direction here, I think you got to keep an eye on gold, just to make sure. So sometimes if the market starts selling off, you could get some flight to the gold. But right now it's totally no man's land. I do want to watch this area right here, which somehow in after hours. There you go. All right. IYR, another one that is, you might want to keep an eye on it. I think Michael tweeted this out yesterday. Right now it's not doing anything, but this is a critical level that we thought it may bounce and get back above. But if it does poke above this one, okay, because you're going to find a lot of your real estate, your REITs, they do pay a dividend. So you keep an eye on that. But right now, still kind of under pressure. XHB had, why did I make that small again? I have no idea. KBH had a really good day. Got the home builders off to a good start, but once again, much like the Qs, got slapped down. Okay, and typically in an interest rate, if we are going to be raising interest rates, this sector will not do well, but who knows? Yeah, speaking of that, hey guys, speaking of that KBH, I noticed something the other day. If you have Barry's option scanner, the other day when KBH was trading around just above 40, his option scanner called out WOW and KBH. I looked at it, I go, what's going on there? Heavy option buying in a very ugly looking chart. And this was what, 1, 2, 3 days ago. And look at that. Somebody knew something. Somebody knew something. I wish I would have just gone in and bought a little bit, because the earnings thing popped. Oh, IYR was yeah, you're right. It was a recent TOW. Oh, yep, I do remember that. But let's see, Moo, not bad. The Moo sector. I think I noticed one of them going the other day. What was it? Mosaic. Yeah, Mosaic tried to poke its little head through a multi-month high there, but could not do it. Maybe you come in here and you just go and put your little price alert there, see if it goes off. Energy, even though it had a little pullback today, it meant still, still very strong. And a lot of your energy stocks, once again, guys, pay a dividend. Just pull them up and take a look. Let's take a look at Exxon. Look at there. And look at that move there. So maybe it's not so much the price of oil as a lot of these, they pay a dividend. ConocoPhillips, Chesapeake had a big pullback today. I'll tell you what, that's one to watch. If it pulls back anywhere around here, could be interesting. This is what I do a lot of times when I'm just looking at charts. Just throw price alerts in there. At least you'll be notified, and then you can evaluate once you're notified. But a lot of times, like, those could be just the greatest entries of all. Doing your homework. All right, guys. Let me go through silver. Nothing really going on there. It is definitely lagging gold. I got a price alert that if it does break out of that level, but it's been OIH's pull back today, but still strong. XRT retail still can't get anything going. I gotta tell you a story that happened to me. Just really. So Barry, a couple of days ago or yesterday morning, he showed me something where a lot of the insider buying was going on in BBY, and it was a ways back. They were doing a lot of insider buying. So I bought a little bit yesterday around 1374, I believe it was, and then I went. It was trading right around here. I said, you know what? If this thing takes out lows, I'm going to get out. So I went in to put in a stop order. Like at lows, right around 1334 or something like that, and put it in, and I just totally, moved on, started doing something else. And then today I'm watching it and I was all excited, boom, 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 just run. And then finally, I don't, a lot of times I don't look at my blotter a whole lot, because I know what I'm in and what I'm pricing, and I don't like to look how much I'm up or down. I've never been one to do that. After day trading for a while, I found it was best not to watch your money, how much you're up. So anyway, finally I go to like put in and sell half my order, and I looked down there, I don't have any. I'm going, what the? And so I had no shares of this thing. It was up, $2 from where I was in. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I looked down there, and turns out yesterday I thought I put in a stop order, and I put in a limit instead. So of course, so it executed immediately. And I
hate it when that happens.
Oh, I was just sick, man. I actually called my broker because I couldn't remember, and I'm like, what happened? I'm supposed to have this, and it was like, no, you put in a limit on. Oh gosh. Oh, anyway, that's why I like most cases. I put in price alerts instead of putting in stupid orders, and that way I can just, when the price alert goes off, I just go over there and I sell it. But anyway, that's that. There's not a whole lot. SMHs tried to rally today, gap up. I'm not sure why the big gap up. I don't think we had earnings, but anyway, got slammed. Ugly little dark cloud cover there. China, IBB still struggling. 10 index tried to get a gap up and go today, same old 10. So really, one other thing I will point out, guys, never kick yourself for taking good profits. I was in this UNG. I bought it on this day right here. Just because I liked the way it was setting up. It was lagging energy. Energy was going crazy. And I'm saying, you know what? It may get going, this natural gas. And lo and behold, on this day, I sold it pretty close to the open. I mean, I was up just a huge 25, 30%. So I sold it. And then, of course, it ran, you know, another, what, 65 cents on me. And I was all bummed, telling the guys, you know, why do I do that? And then look what happened today. Gap down below where I got out and just sold off all day. So don't kick yourself a lot of time if you get a nice, you know, 20-25% gain and it goes a little bit more. I mean, there's nothing wrong. And that's when Michael came out. He goes, you know what? The best traders I know always complain about getting out too early. So at least it says you're doing something good. If you're in, you know, the most important part of the trade is the entry, that by far. And if you're making good entries and you're making good profits, do not kick yourself too much, you know, for, you know, the ones that just keep going on you, because for every one that keeps going on you, you're going to get these as well. So anyway, well, then we're in good yeah, thank you, David. All right, guys, if any questions, it's that time. I'm not doing the, you know, with this, I've decided with this thing every 2 weeks. I used to do that little pick the stocks contest. It's just 2 weeks is just too long to do that. But if we don't have any more questions, Jamie, we get them all?
I believe so.
All right, let's bring in Scott. He'll walk it out. You guys hang on. He'll have a, we have a sale coming up for Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, in the meantime, there's also a promo code you can use today. So if you haven't checked out Stock Racing, go ahead to trade-ideas.com/stockrace. It's a new way to visualize market data. Got some pretty cool videos on that page for you to kind of get an idea of what it is and how it works. And then make sure you download the new beta and give it a try. If you're looking for a very reliable broker with a great short list, connect your Trade Ideas account to Interactive Brokerage. You can learn more at tradeIdeas.com/IBKR. We also have zero commission trading through E-Trade if you decide you want to get started with, if you already have an E-Trade account or decide you want some zero commission, just go to tradeIdeas.com/E-Trade. Learn how to connect your Brokerage Plus account there. Also check out Dave Mabe, who is our Director of Software Development, the guy behind Holly and a lot of our top features. He's got some of his favorite strategies. Just go to trade-ideas.com/strategy and get his favorite strategy indicators, learn how he uses Trade Ideas. If you're not quite ready to become a subscriber, get these strength alerts. Trade-ideas.com/strength will take you to the page where you can sign up, $17 a month. And every Sunday you get, instead of the free one trade idea that we give out on Mondays, you will get some AI derived strength alerts, and there's 5 of them every week. If you want to start up with us today and save some cash, use the code HAPPY2022. Saves 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. Also stay tuned for some Martin Luther King Day savings coming your way by email. Find us on YouTube at Trade Ideas, youtube.com/Trade Ideas. You can also find us on Twitter at Trade Ideas, at QuantBot, at TISTG, and there's a bunch of other handles for other people. And of course, we're on Facebook at Trade Ideas Pro. So if you have any questions, email us, info@trade-ideas.com. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Jamie. And hope everyone has a great rest of their afternoon.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see some of you guys tomorrow in the support Webby.
See you later.